And I think we're live. All right.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. We are here, and we're going to be talking about the Crowley Mansion,
Yeah.
the Boleskine.
Boleskin. Say it however you want.
Moleskin House. But anyway, so I tried reading off of some of Betsy's cheat sheets.
I've
Did not.
I've gone archaic, and some of these names are really hard.
The ancient English or whatever you call it.
Yeah, Scottish Gaelic.
Cannot read it at all. But anyways, so here we are, and gonna be a fun show.
So the Boleskine, I'm gonna use Boleskine.
Boleskine,
I don't know. Anyway, it is a manor on the southeast island.
Just imagine Aleister Crowley, the evil occultist.
Yeah.
Welcome to my manor.
It's on the southeast side of Lochness in the Scottish Highlands. And it's notable for having been the home of the author and occultist Aleister Crowley. It was his home, purchased then by Led Zeppelin guitarist and producer Jimmy Page. Now, the home today does not look anything like it did before.
No.
It actually suffered fire damage, not once, but twice.
Yeah, and it was on fire
significant fire damage.
Just like 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Not even 10 years ago, 2019.
Yeah, I remember watching it on the news.
December 2015 and again in July of 2019. So the house, they say, is now being restored, and they started construction soon after the fire. It's being restored by the Boleskine House Foundation, and they're managing the restoration efforts.
Do you think that they are a foundation because they really just dig this house? Or do you think that they're Aleister Crowley kind of heavies?
Okay. Yes and yes. The manor itself is a stately manor. It used to have really beautiful grounds, and it has become somewhat of a tourist attraction due to the occultist nature and the hauntings. And so there is significant money to be made by restoring it, maybe playing into some of its history. And although during his life he was not revered as this super occultist, Aleister Crowley, since his passing, has become, kind of a household name. So yeah, we'll get into that.
So
this area in the Scottish Highlands has a history of these strange happenings long before Aleister Crowley. The parish, or the township of Boleskine, was formed in the 13th century. A kirk and graveyard were built in the parish around this time.
Now, okay, I was checking that out. All right. So how weird would that be to have a graveyard like at your house?
At your house. Eek.
Like, I'm going to go. That's like the Munsters. Didn't they have a graveyard at their house?
They did. Grandma was buried there or something.
Seriously.
Hi, King. Welcome to the show.
Yes, but they had a graveyard at their house.
Yeah. It's not my thing personally.
You don't think you could hang?
I don't think it'd be my thing, but it was probably, convenient, and common. So,
how many people do you have to have in the family all the time
to warrant a graveyard, your own family graveyard? So a succession of ministers ran the Boleskine parish and would travel the area on horseback and on foot in all weather conditions. Minister Thomas Houston, born 1648, past 1705, was said to have had the task of hastily laying animated corpses back in their graves after a devious local wizard had raised them from the dead.
So he's a zombie hunter.
Yes, really, but he would just
Okay,
put them back in their
hold
graves.
on. Here's a question. Now, let's say you bury Aunt Ruth, right?
Right?
And you get up the next day or a week later, or God forbid, like a couple months down the road, and
There she is,
she's
looking fantastic.
maybe not out walking around, but you find her not in the grave. Let's just say you find her anywhere at
Other?
all. I would say
Ruth, where have you been?
I would say the individual who reburies,
Who gets to deal with Aunt Ruth?
leader of the community.
100%.
Yes,
No elections need
because
held.
I would do the 1, 2, 3, not it.
1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah, like really quick. I would be geared up.
I
the
wouldn't
not it.
even be there for the not it.
Honestly, yeah.
My horse would be at full speed,
Yeah.
headed for anywhere but Aunt Ruth.
It wouldn't even have to be a horse. I'll ride out of there on a donkey or a mid-sized dog. And I would, yeah. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
So,
Minister, dig him up dead.
Minister dig 'em up. So, Boleskine House was built on the site of the kirk, which, according to legend, caught fire during.
What's a kirk?
So it was kind of a place where ministering happened,
Oh, so it's a
kind of a church,
okay.
which, according to legend, caught fire during congregation and killed everyone inside.
The kirk did?
Yes, and then they built Boleskine.
So
right on
they
top.
said, "Oh, the devil loves this place."
Yeah.
And then they said, "Pop me a house in there." Just,
Yeah. Eek. So, fast forward a little ways, about 100, 150 years. Aleister Crowley.
I want to take a second and reflect on less than 500 years ago.
Yeah.
They had a guy who put
Is that insane?
who put dead people
reanimated bodies
put
back.
dead people back. Like 500. Now, did he have a crew? Did he dig the hole himself or re-dig the hole himself? And it probably depends on how long it's been. Because if it's fresh, probably easy to dig. Soil is loose, grass hasn't regrown. But I mean, if you're talking months out and the soil's kind of come back.
So Minister Thomas Houston is someone we really should dig up information.
Would you bury them again? Because I think at that time you fire, pun intended,
Burying
you
didn't
fire
work.
up a cremator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Burying obviously didn't work.
This one is this is a no-go. So I'm thinking we burn it. And we're right next to Lochness.
Yeah. Aunt Ruth, we're going to have to try something else.
Can we try to feed it to fish at that point but then what if the fish get zombied? And then you're pulling up zombie fish, because I imagine fish was a staple of their diet.
What if one night he was like, I am too tired to dig. So he tossed a zombie in Lochness.
Solved it.
So Aleister Crowley is an occultist at this time, and he is looking for this is 1899-ish. He is looking for a place to hold his seances and rituals.
The one ritual was like the Abrahamic.
Yes.
What is it called? It's like Abraham, but
It's Abramelin.
Abramelin.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's looking, and apparently he took quite a long time searching for the place. He needed it. No neighbors. It's kind of hard to do your rituals with neighbors. The Bullskin offered that, and he also needed a large outdoor space that he could perform these rituals that was flat and allowed him to cover the area in soft sand. And
I thought that was going to go way somewhere else knowing what he did.
This soft sand during these rituals was because he said you get so caught up in the ritual that you wake up the next morning having seen all of these things. You needed an area that was covered in soft sand so that you could see the footprints of the demons.
Oh, and it's easier on your knees while you're, praying to the dark ones.
Yeah. So this house, this house offered all of that.
Less than 500 years, Betsy.
And there was a tunnel that linked the house to the graveyard.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Why?
Burying reanimated bodies is tough work, Jared.
Do you want the zombies to be able to claw sideways to get out?
Kim, you've given them a tunnel back to the house. At least if they pop up somewhere away from the house, they may wander away aimlessly.
I was looking into vampires, and one of the European style of taking care of vampires is you bury them upside down, right?
So when they dig further down.
So they just keep digging.
Like moles.
And then bam, you get nine-tailed foxes in China. Don't know how that happens, but they keep digging down because they think they're digging up. But if you make it sideways, you're defeating that.
Yes.
Feeding the vampire. Okay, go on.
So Crowley finds this house, knowing that the spells and rituals of Abramelin take 6 months on average to do. You have to be dedicated to your work. So he finds this house where he can sequester himself to perform these series of operations.
Like, is it like a 9-to-5-er? Take a lunch break. The maid brings you out a plate of tea and biscuits.
I don't know. I haven't read that far into the magic of Abramelin and what it all takes. However, I have read far enough to know that you probably shouldn't dabble in it. Like, just don't.
You can throw it out there.
So, according to Crowley in his book, The Confessions of Aleister Crowley, in order to perform the operations, the house has to be in this secluded situation. There should be a door opening to true north from the room which you make all of your seances.
Hey, the change of the magnetic pulse
screwed it up.
It's going to mess up all these evil magicians that are reanimating the dead to give the ministers who rebury them. A lot of people are going to be out of work. Learn to code.
Outside the door facing south, you have to construct a terrace, or there needs to be a terrace where you cover with this fine river sand. Hello, right next to the lock. It's perfect. It's already there. Didn't even need to truck it in.
You just need a shovel and a bucket.
And this gives the space for not only for you to see the footprints left from the spirits, but for them to congregate, the spirits to congregate. It's like a party. You invite them over, turn on some music, and then
darn it.
Next morning, check out the footprints. It's golden. So the Bullskin house really did hit all those marks. Now, Aleister was unaware of its history.
Of the fire burning down
the fire burning down the congregation, the reanimated corpses, all of that stuff. He was completely unaware of that history, he claims, but was drawn to
it's
the
just
vibe of the house.
It's just evil is as evil do.
Yeah. So the operations known as the Sacred Magic of Abramelin takes 6 months of preparation, which includes celibacy and abstinence from alcohol. It also includes the summoning of the 12 kings and dukes of hell. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Now, Alistair...
Perfectly normal, perfectly legit.
Nothing to see here.
This is what we do.
Alistair said that you bring them forward to bind them and remove their negative influences from the magician's life. However, here's where things go awry. He had this big plan. He was going to bring forth the 12 kings, all the dukes of hell, party, music.
Hold on. 12 kings and the dukes of hell?
Yes.
Like the 12 kings of Israel? Is that
probably
how it goes? Or are there different 12 kings that
I don't know.
There probably is. I mean, let's face it.
I don't know. But he has this plan. He's going to do his 6 months of preparation, perform all the seances, bring them all forward, and remove their negative influence. I don't know how that made sense to him, because wouldn't you be bringing their negative anyway? However,
only he can.
At this time, he's a part of the Golden Dawn.
Oh, I know what you do. So you call him forward, and then you remember that Hawaiian guy that sang that ukulele happy song?
Have him playing.
You play that on a loop. You cannot be mad or depressed
It's
or
true.
negative. What's that song called?
I'm not sure, but I can see his.
But honestly,
yes,
the dude is
the one and only song
huge.
that he ever played.
Huge
Yeah.
dude, and he's got a miniature ukulele. And
No, I think it's average size. He's just really big. It looks miniature.
anyways, but that's how you fix evil.
He wasn't around then.
You know what we've got to try? Next ghost hunt. We play that song and
Bring
set
forth
them free.
only good
I'm
ghosts.
telling you, we need to go into the evil headquarters of the whatever's controlling the shit we got going on now and play that for them.
Ooh.
And you know what I've seen
They
all
should
over the
pump it into the White House.
When you're in dementia, can you string a whole song together? Anyways, here's what I've seen this around a lot lately. They fired CERN back up.
I
And
know.
everyone's saying there's a lot of weird stuff happening.
Okay, I hope it pops us back into
Or a better
where
dimension
we,
would be
okay,
cool.
yeah, fine,
But then we just go ruin their good stuff.
probably. We are like human wrecking balls.
Is there empty dimensions we can go to?
We screw that up too.
Frickin' CERN, man, that place is bringing it heavy.
We've got to, at some point, stop the madness at CERN.
Oh, yeah.
Some
Right.
injunction needs to take place.
You ain't kidding. All right, sorry. I got you sidetracked off of your
So-
6-month religious ceremony.
So he's in the middle of this process. He's near the end of this process.
Mhm.
He has done his celibacy. Hard for Aleister Crowley, if you know his
What?
story.
Now he was a member of Golden Dawn, but
Yes.
that wasn't sexual enough for him. But he went celibate.
For this ritual.
I'll bet that meant something different to him.
I'll bet it did too.
I'll bet
Like,
it meant
stop eating red potatoes.
no, probably not rape teenage boys or something.
Yeah, maybe it was
Probably-
only
yeah,
consensual
yeah. I
equals
will.
celibate.
Yeah, or you know, I don't know, whatever else he did. You know, I will not bathe in blood while I have intercourse. Something, Aleister Crowley, something like to us, we'd be like, "You're doing what?" But
For him, it was
for
like,
him, he's like,
fine, I'll give that up.
"It's a Tuesday," you know. Anyways,
So at this time, he's near the end of this really long process, apparently, the Abramelin is, you got to be committed. You got to be in it to win it.
6 months to bring forth 12 kings and the
all the Dukes of Hell.
Dukes of Hell. Dude, that's a cool name.
Anyway, I know.
I wonder what their horn on their race card looked like.
Yeah.
Or sound like.
Be sweet.
Dun, 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 dun. As they jump across the creek, hauling bootleg whiskey. Actually, bootleg gin. We're in England, Betsy.
That's true. That's true. So he's a part of the Golden
But
Dawn.
it's Scotland.
It's Scotland.
So it would be whiskey. It'd be Scotch.
Yes, it'd be Scotch.
Okay, sorry. Sidetracked.
So he's almost to the end of this process, but he's still a part of the Golden Dawn.
Mhm.
And his muse, so to speak, Mathers.
My muse, my love.
His muse, his love, his one and only, calls him to Paris.
Now, hold on. Now, this is in 1899.
Yeah, so he sends a rider.
So calling to Paris means a dude rides up on a horse.
Yeah.
Aleister Crowley is probably laid out, if that dude is lucky,
completely nude.
in a robe.
He's
if
got
that dude
wax
is lucky.
dripping off his nipples.
I'm telling you, he's rolling around in sand. It looks like a damn magazine photo shoot with a weird dude, right? The guy rolls up and the horse is trying to leave the whole time, and he hands him a scroll that's bonded with wax, and some guy pressed a ring into it. All right. So his muse, his love, called him back to Paris.
And said he just needed him. He needed him right now.
But he's in the middle of bringing the Dukes of Helsard.
So, the way these rituals, summonings, so to speak, work is you bring them forth,
Mhm.
you do what you do with them, and then you banish them again.
Dude, imagine if they did that now. It'd be like a TikTok video.
Yeah.
They would bring forward the demon, a girl would twerk, small waist, pretty face, boom, and then get out of here.
Yes. So, according to the legend and Aleister Crowley himself, that his hasty departure from Boleskine allowed him to bring them forth, but then he had to go. So he left for Paris and never banished them.
Like Cardbordo.
We left the planchette on there. We
Well, and
brought him
I
forth.
forgot to say goodbye, right?
And you
or
didn't even
something.
say goodbye.
I don't know how to work it. I haven't been to school, to
The school of Ouija board.
Ouija board school. I didn't know what I was doing. Thank God we called forward a lame one. I mean, we called forward one just to ask the toilet paper question.
It's true. It's true. We did.
Which is the proper way to hang it?
I spend way too much time thinking about this since that show.
But we know which is the proper way to hang it. You don't want surprise toilet paper roll.
Sometimes I hang it backwards, according to you, and then I say to myself, I do what I want.
I'm a rebel.
Don't tell me how to live my life. So apparently,
There could be stuff hiding in the toilet paper when it's on the backside. You'd never know.
it's true.
Pull out a spider. You're in that.
I will spend
Special
far too
moment.
much time thinking about that now. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So
Imagine, pull it around and
no,
one. What do you do at that moment? You're kind of stuck.
I am not, in fact, stuck.
But I mean, like, what if you're
I clean the bathroom. I shall clean whatever disaster I create in my hasty departure.
very hasty departure?
Yes. Yeah, it's all on me. Wouldn't even think twice. Up, I don't care what.
You just hear me yell downstairs, Alex, come here.
You'd be like, what did you do in here?
I'm going to need you to do me a favor.
And he's a good boy. He'd
He
say,
is.
yeah, Dad. And then he would do it. Wouldn't
He-
even complain.
I think on that he'd tell me no.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so.
I don't think so.
I know so.
So legend has it is that shortly after he leaves, so brings forth the Dukes of Hell. Oh, I gotta go.
I know. They come rolling out in a charge. Ooh, they drive a Hellcat, come rolling out in a Hellcat, their horn blaring as they jump across the lock, and then he leaves.
And he's like, oh.
And they're just doing donuts in the yard.
My Mathers called me. Yeah. Alistair.
Mathers was the dude that he started the OTO with, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He was married too.
Yeah, and they were doing like sneaky link stuff.
Could you imagine his wife? She would have to have been
exactly like him.
Having a rough life.
Exactly like him, or she couldn't have been with him. She was a total freak show. I guarantee it.
Either a freak show or super submissive.
Yeah.
Did they have divorce in 1899?
I don't know. They probably just rode off into the sunset.
Do you think?
Resettled somewhere else.
Do you think that this chick, right, starts dating this young gentleman, and he comes from money.
Alistair Crowley comes from the Crowley L fund, and he was extremely wealthy.
Yeah. So do you think she's thinking, yes, the ticket? She gets in there, and
she's like,
and he's like wearing sheepskin chaps. The nighttime is the right time. You know, walking around with black candles,
putting on goat urine,
and just doing weird stuff. And she's just like, damn it. Like he lured her in.
I knew it was too good to be true.
He catfished her.
Total catfish.
He Crowley fished her. Fish. Alistair fishing. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So it is legend in the area that strange happenings began to occur in and around the Bullskin house following Crowley's crappy departure. It was strange before.
I was going to say they had a dead body reburier.
Was it so normal for people to reanimate?
How do you define strange when you had a guy previous?
You know what's worse?
Who reburied vampires.
You know what's worse?
Huh.
Medically speaking, we weren't very advanced. What if Miss Ruth wasn't dead? And then she claws her way out.
Oh, you mean they just buried like Aunt Ruth who was taking a long nap?
Yeah.
Remember that for a while, we should do a show on like the weird things they did around graveyards, like why they have a wake, why they used to have bells on top of headstones.
Because they often thought people were dead when they in fact were not.
What about the graveyards where they build a little prison above the grave? Have you seen those?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, to capture them when they come up.
Yeah, so that they come up and then they're just...
Please, I'm not dead.
How crappy would that be? You're walking, going to the graveyard to drop some flowers off on Memorial Day, got a little prison above the grave, and some zombies there like trying to paw through the cage.
What's worse is what if it's not a zombie? What if Aunt Ruth laid down for a long nap?
And then they bury her again? She can't catch a break.
She wakes up and she's like, okay, I can do this.
I know where I'm at. I'm facing. I've just got to dig the way I'm facing. Dig the way I'm facing.
She claws her way out of there.
She's got to get through the
minister
wooden box.
Shows up.
Got to get through the concrete other box, and then through 6 feet of dirt. So she comes popping out. She's walking along. She's like, man, I need a bath. She's stumbling back to the
minister,
to the house, and some dude comes up behind her, hits her over the head with a great big Bible. Boom, down she goes. Wakes up again. I'll bet she gave up the second time. But she's like,
well, what if he killed her?
That's what the steak was for.
I mean, honestly. Anyway.
If you're going to drive a steak through my heart, make sure it's a prime rib. That's my favorite steak.
So the strange happenings arguably took place before, but at any rate, they started noticing them after the Dukes of Hell showed up.
It went from a 10 to an 11.
Yeah. So because of Crowley's obvious interest in the occult and rituals and things, one of his pseudonyms became Lord Bullskin. I don't know if I like that. It fits him well. Look at his head.
About that 1, 2, 3, not it game, I imagine all the messengers played that whenever a letter came in for this dude. Like the Pony Express. No, I'll go cruising through the wild Indian country. No, thank you.
Yeah. So it's said that his lodge keeper, Hugh Gillies, following Hugh Gillies or Huge Illies. I don't know. I want to be Scottish.
They are punking him too. That poor...
Hugh Gillies, the lodge keeper for Lord Bolskin, was said that following this summoning and then Crowley's hasty departure, suffered a number of personal tragedies, including the loss of 2 children. And Crowley later claimed that it just simply got out of hand.
What if Crowley did it on purpose?
What if he did?
To feed the demon. Okay, let's go through some comments real quick and then on to a news story because Crowley's creepy. All right. Crowley tried to branch out and found out what could happen just like Lamb did.
Yes.
Appeared to...
What if he was ill prepared? What if he was like, yeah, I can do this. And he did all the preparations. And then they showed up and he was like, I got called to Paris.
Yeah. Paris in August? My favorite time of year.
Because what if it was too much?
I'm going to get a baguette.
What if it was too much? What if he called them forth and was like, clearly out of my league here. Okay, y'all just party, get to know one another, packed his shit. And then he used Mathers as an excuse. I had to go.
You got this, right, Hugh? I
was called by Mathers. Do you know who Mathers is?
They're messing, and poor Humongous. And then when he appeared to Crowley, he wanted to travel real reality. Sorry. I can read sometimes. That's what I think Crowley wanted to do. Actually, a necromancer. I mean, you're talking about the pastor, a necromancer, or is he the reverse necromancer? And there was a necromancer in the city that was bringing up the dead.
Listen, King, you got to prepare a show.
Yeah,
come on. This is getting way too deep.
Yeah, let's get into. I'd like to hear Well, I wouldn't like to meet them, but hear about their stories would be wild. On having powers over the dead. I wonder what powers Crowley got. Ooh. Well, I'll tell you what powers he didn't get. Didn't get the powers to not be a weirdo. All right.
Yeah.
So quick news story.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Texas researchers find dozens of creepy dolls on Gulf Coast beaches. And this has been going on for a long time. Researchers who comb, they spelled that wrong.
Close enough. Comb.
Who come of...
Don't read it like that. That's a bad...
who comb a 40-mile stretch of a Texas beach twice a week have been using social media to document some eerie discoveries.
That looks like the doll in Grace's room. That's not eerie. She wakes up to that at night.
Remember Presley's doll?
Yeah, it was fine until you sewed its face shut.
I didn't.
Vince did.
Yes, but the face fell off.
I know, so he made it a taco.
And then when he tried to get her a new one, she wanted the one that had
because she knew
World War I injury. But anyways, Jace Tunnell, director of the Mission Arkansas Reserve at the University of Texas Marine Science Institute, said his team surveys about 40 miles of Gulf Coast beach at the reserve twice a week. And they have frequently been finding dolls of various types that were given a creepy aesthetic by their time in the water. We're actually doing scientific work, but the dolls are a perk. So they keep finding these dolls and just doll heads that the water is kind of waterlogged, or
like barnacles growing on them,
or someone is messing with them and dropping these. But they find them. They found they found 30 of them. And they just keep these dolls keep washing up. Where are these dolls coming from?
Well, it said
why just there.
It says the first one we had found was a sex doll. Don't touch it. There's not enough time in the water to wash that off. Don't touch it. What do you mean? You posted photos?
He comes in.
Can you
bunch of
imagine?
little fish are just.
Can you imagine you're with your kids on the beach? Look, Mom! No.
Remember when we went to the zoo when we were
Absolutely
younger and the gorilla was pleasuring itself? And Vince is probably about 3 and he goes, Eric. I remember Mom left. And so I took her camera and took pictures of it.
We didn't have, these were film pictures. She had to develop them. The person at Walmart or wherever she developed them had to also see these.
He was using its foot. The littlest brother at the time. Eric, come here, this gorilla is.
Oh, it's too much.
Anyways, but they keep finding these dolls, so they've started selling them. Now, it sounds like these marine biologists study kind of the life cycle of these big giant tortoises or turtles or
Sex dolls. You buy them,
Well-
you use them, you throw them away, they end up in the ocean, they float onto the shore.
but because these dolls have this creepy look about them, they sell them on eBay
Oh, yeah.
and people buy them up, and then the money goes back to saving the turtles.
Who knew?
It's a beautiful thing. Now,
Trash into treasure.
see, when you come across the sex doll that's got barnacles growing on it, are you buying it for the sex doll part or the creepy barnacle part? Because they cannot coincide together.
You don't buy that.
You would want to at least
You
give
let
that
someone else buy that.
You'd want to give it a precursory scrub.
Ugh. Yuck.
Deflate it, throw it in the dishwasher.
Good as new.
But yeah, but I think that is really cool that they've figured out how to turn these dolls and turn a profit and save the turtles, save the baby turtles.
Saving the turtles.
I
One sex
like
doll at a time.
All right, back to Aleister Crowley and his fun antics.
So Aleister Crowley leaves in 1913. So he basically only owns the home from 1899 to 1913. That's not very long. 14 years roughly. He leaves and the home actually falls into this scandal. It doesn't fall. It's involved in a scandal. So Hollywood actor George Raft was involved in a scandal selling shares for a pig farm supposedly built on the grounds of Bullskin, except there wasn't a farm.
Selling pretend pig farm.
Yeah.
The
So
pigs are just over that rise.
he was just scamming people. After the Second World War, the house was then purchased by Major Edward Grant. This is in 1965. Grant actually spoke very openly about the torment that he was receiving in this house, the scratching, the constant opening and closing of doors. He really did somewhat lose his mind, and he actually committed suicide in Crowley's bedroom with a shotgun.
Oh.
Now, 1969, Grant doesn't live there very long before he commits suicide. 1969, it is purchased by Kenneth Anger, an experimental filmmaker who had an obvious and, you could see it in his work, an interest in the occult. After they moved in, his wife went blind, and after a month, he just walked out, leaving the woman wandering and unable to see, leaving her there.
Just left his blind wife there?
Yeah. Just straight up popped smoke.
Okay, so they move in.
Not even 6 months. His wife goes blind.
His wife then goes blind.
Yes.
And so he's like, peace. I'm
And he just left her there.
hops in the car and drives off.
Yeah.
And
That's her
she's just
wandering blind in the house.
did they have like maids and stuff to help out?
It didn't. The story didn't say.
So he might have just left a lady there to starve or
Yeah.
whatever.
Fend for herself. Eat the pigs that don't exist. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So do you think that guy like went evil? The demons told him to do it?
I think that there was enough, and maybe the house sits on a ley line, and there's like crazy things that happen there anyway.
Yeah.
That kind of draws in the minister and the reburying of reanimated
Well, what if
corpses.
the minister wasn't drawn in there? What if the minister's cruise on? He goes to minister college and he's thinking, I'm just going to be, the regular minister. He's practicing hellfire and damnation. I mean, they have that whole class on pounding the pulpit. And then he goes there and drew the short straw, and they've got a place that was full of the dead people.
It's hard to say. So after that, this house property surrounding area already has this really long history.
Mm-hmm.
But 1970, Jimmy Page.
Oh, yes.
Is a band member for Led Zeppelin. And he apparently was the only band member who was interested in Aleister Crowley and his teachings of the Thelema. So Aleister Crowley leaves the Golden Dawn, and because it was just too...
Docile.
It was too stifling.
There wasn't enough teenage boy rape and blood rituals for him.
So he leaves the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and he starts his own sacred text, and he calls it the Book of Law.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts the Thelema. It's another occultist group called the Thelema. So Jimmy Page is interested in the Thelema.
Now, all of the Led Zeppelin guys got interested in the occult.
In the occult in other ways, but not Aleister Crowley,
But
so to speak.
He's the only one that kind of dug the weirdo.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Mr. Page.
We'll have to cover the Thelema because it's interesting. It's very much like Satanism in the sense that it's you serve yourself and the only sin is repression.
Oh, so it's like the Book of Satan.
Yes.
Okay, written by that what was his name again? Anyways, go on.
Yeah.
I forget.
So when the band's fortunes climb in the early 70s and the money starts pouring in, each of them could afford private estates. So Jimmy Page hears that one of Aleister Crowley's former residences was up for sale, and this is the Bullskin Manor. So at this point, Page is so interested in Crowley that he's already accumulated this gigantic private collection of...
Bought his robe.
Yeah, Crowley...
Pair of dress socks.
Yeah, over the years, including his books. He has his artworks and paintings, his ceremonial robes, his magical implements. He even had ownership for a time, maybe still, I couldn't find anything, of a bookshop in London, the Equinox, that specialized in books pertaining to the occult, spiritual development, and other kind of collections. So he's all in. Aleister Crowley, fan club president.
Mm.
Many of Crowley's written works were sold at this Equinox, and Page was into Crowley even before Led Zeppelin existed. So he brought that with him.
It was like a long-term passion of his.
Yes. So, Bullskin, having been the site for the express purpose of conducting this ceremonial ritual, Abra Melon, that really interested Page. So Page bought Bullskin. Now,
And it was in what, 79 that he bought it?
it
or-
was in, yes, 1979.
Okay.
So as the legend goes, he buys this house and he's just so fascinated with him and
What did
his
he do with the old
ideas.
blind lady wandering around?
I don't know if
Hey,
she
let
was
me ask
still
you
there.
a question. Let's say you had a chance on a screaming deal on a manor.
But it came with a blind lady?
No,
Oh.
a graveyard.
Oh. Ooh.
Would that be a tough one? I mean, how far away is the graveyard? Are we talking like 50 acres, houses on one corner, graveyards on
Look
the
at
other?
that. Look at that. Pull up that picture because I think you can actually see it from the west side of the home. So I think it's pretty close. So he buys this, but what he finds is that this house and grounds are in a complete state of disrepair and neglect. It had, at this point, like we discussed, been through several owners.
Is that it right there?
Yes,
That is not far enough.
that's pretty close.
Good hell, they may have just put it in the living room. They got a damn pine tree between you and a graveyard.
Sitting on the terrace, watching the zombies pop up. I mean, it's a whole thing.
That is way too close.
So it had been passed through all of these varying owners, and it at this point had a pretty strong reputation for being haunted. So Page sets about to restoring the house. But because of the time frame that he purchased the house and started having, people go in to restore it, he didn't spend a lot of time there. He did spend some time there, but he didn't spend a lot of time there. They were traveling.
Mm-hmm. But was it haunted when he was there?
Yeah. So
we're talking Ghostbusters. Ghost come in and pulls the blankets down the middle of the night.
So he sets up his friend, Malcolm Dent.
These guys are some jerks. To
reside there and keep the place in good order, kind of manage the comings and goings of all of the contractors and everybody doing their thing. Now, he goes on to restore this house as much as possible to how it was when Crowley lived there, even recreating these Crowley-esque murals that were on the walls.
Black curtains.
Yeah. So Malcolm Dent, his buddy that he gets to live there, goes on to say that he was super skeptical of the paranormal and hauntings. So he, given the history, he was like, yeah, whatever, I'll live there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was a free gig. It was a good deal.
Yeah.
However,
no sooner had he taken residence when he began to experience all of the things. So it is said that, like, second night there, he was sitting in the living room and a chair, big, heavy, ornate wooden chair, slid across the floor and slammed into his shins, actually putting him down for several days. It is also said that cupboards, it all seemed very menacing. Very, very, he said that it seemed very menacing because it wasn't just happening. It was, but it wasn't just happening in another room where you would hear something.
But it's there. A chair hit him.
It was happening to him. Like, he would be standing in the kitchen and one of the cupboards would fly open and slam into him.
I got but one question. So when you run away from the house screaming,
yes,
do you close the door behind you, or do you
No.
just not care and leave it flapping?
Yeah, no.
And how many priests are required to clean this house?
So, in spite of this, I mean, like, he would find carpets that had been rolled up, and just rolled up right where they sat. I mean, like, these are very talented ghosts. They're not your average bang, push.
These are the Dukes of Demons.
Yes.
The Demons of Hazard.
He even had one night where he said he heard a growling that seemed like a dog on the other side of his bedroom door. And that as it went on, he could audibly hear a change in tone to where he knew that it in fact was not even of this world.
This is like the grand tour of the world of Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. So he raised a family there. I mean, why not? You know, you don't want to go through this stuff alone.
Little Billy turned out just fine.
Make him tough. It'll toughen him up.
Oh, good.
Rub some dirt on it.
Oh.
So apparently he just kind of got used to it. You know, it's free rent, doing a buddy a favor. It's a big old house.
I can dodge chairs and cupboards with the best of them. Just, you know.
Yeah. So that goes on until Page in 1992 sells the Bullskin house. So he sells the Bullskin house and much of his
So all
Crowley
this is going on
collections.
within our lifetime.
Yes.
79, I would have been 4, you'd have been 2. Buys a house. So this guy's living there, raising his youngins. They're getting whatever they're getting.
I want to find the youngins and say, how was it growing up in that house?
That they're doing fine.
You know, nothing a little counseling can't solve.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he, as we know with Page and kind of there was this wild transition with Led Zeppelin. And there's a lot of stories surrounding when they started to incorporate these symbols like we showed you in the beginning.
Heavy into symbology. So when you look at the covers of let me pull this up.
There was a dramatic shift, and I was pretty astonished to find that Led Zeppelin wasn't the only Crowley fan. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yep, Mr. Crowley.
He was a huge fan of Mr. Crowley. Huge fan.
Oh, yeah.
Read all of his stuff. Even as a young boy said, I'm going to write a song about this guy one day.
Mm-hmm. And he did.
And he did.
You know, so when you look at Led Zeppelin, you've got these symbols at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And these are the symbols that the band made up. And apparently they did a lot of symbology. And
so
symbology it's thought of on the gentle side as kind of hyper focusing on something. So you draw out your wish, your dream, and then you make it into a symbol and you focus on that. And what you're doing is you're focusing on your dream, meditation. But on the evil side, I mean,
so
you're calling forth demons and they're making it happen.
So Jimmy Page did in several interviews explain this sigil magic is what they call it.
Yeah, sigil magic.
His symbol is the Zoso symbol. The meaning of it, he just says he wouldn't reveal.
His is the big one. The other ones kind of look flowery and, you know, generic.
Benign.
Any tattoo you'd see on any 24-year-old, you know, girl heading to brunch today.
Yeah.
His, now remember, there's that demon that guy and also the demon, Zozo.
Yes.
So that's awful close. Zozo. And Zozo is a wind demon from ancient Mesopotamia that they seem to have kind of weird demon ideas. So the demon was protector and murderer of children.
You know.
So they would go, they went hard at it. So you would buy a statue of the demon and the demon would protect you.
Yeah.
But if you didn't, the demon would come and eat the baby.
Listen,
So it was kind of like
it's a fantastic marketing strategy.
It's like lamb's blood on the door.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Let me, some more comments real quick. We'll flush through these real quick. You guys are too much. I know. Well, sure it is. Poor Betsy has to suffer through it. Where do you think Aleister Crowley is, like as in hell, or that's a big question.
100%. If there is a hell, he is down there. He's not ruling it because he was just like this creepy dude.
Oh, I think he
that did awful things.
He's probably like a HR manager in hell.
Yes.
You know, he's shitty enough that he's got some power.
He's in IT.
Well, he's kind of quiet. You know, he would definitely be HR manager.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
One of those ones who I can help you out and just make your life worse.
Yeah.
I wonder, what do people think of what serving Satan or demons will bring them?
Yeah.
To me, it's no bueno.
No bueno.
It seems like short-term success for long-term punishment, the Faustian clause. Then again, I mean, we are going to be covering a story here in a couple of weeks that is reported that these actions kind of served all of Great Britain. So,
true.
Symbols, that's how they communicate. Yeah.
You will know them by their symbolism.
Very true. It's wild stuff.
I wonder.
And so, like me, myself, I could see that symbology working on an innocent side. Like if I made a symbol that means I want to own a Lamborghini, and every morning I got up and thought, and that would drive all my focus in life towards making enough
like
money to buy a Lamborghini.
Those vision boards that people create.
Yeah, the hippie. What's that thing called? The Secret. Yeah, remember the book, that little book that
I have the movie from like a million years ago, The Secret.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, every girl did.
Yeah, The Secret.
But that's what it was, a vision board. I think regular on the gentle side symbology can be that, but it could also be like on the devil side. Let's cover a news
I think
story.
the difference is if you want it given to you, or if you are willing to work for it.
And that's the symbology can. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
Anyway.
Look at the band Led Zeppelin, amigos. And I love the band Led Zeppelin. Their music is awesome. But they're creepy. I'm sure they sold out to the devil.
You were getting subliminal messaging. Worship Satan.
Probably. I just never played him backwards, so it didn't take. All right, so another funny story.
Oh, this is not funny.
An Ohio school board member censured for typo that linked.
Was it a typo?
Well, okay. Darby Body,
Stop it.
41, refused to resign, saying that the link she intended to post was a site about sexual education.
It was very educational.
For teens. Okay, she screwed up bad. You know, they shouldn't name the sexual education site like Porn HUD.
No.
Anyways, an Ohio school board outside Cincinnati voted during an emergency meeting on Wednesday to censure a member who said she accidentally posted a link to a pornography site on her campaign's Facebook page. So it's in a campaign speech. Like when Bernie Sanders says, go to the YouTube.
How do you accidentally?
All right, folks, go to the Pornhubs.
How do you accidentally?
Well, the names are close. I'm telling you, it's Pornhub. It's porn, higher understanding and development for students.
So why did her computer autocorrect it to Pornhub? Why? Because our computers are learning from what we're doing.
Never click on the first thing that pulls up on your For You bar. Oh. But no, it's just great. It's in her. Imagine if she'd accidentally
She does not think this is funny
send
at all.
it to the Reagan like billboard company. Plastered across 20 feet wide, 18 feet tall.
I'm sorry he's finding so much comedy in your trials, Miss Body.
Nobody's. Well, first of all,
Nobody knows.
oh, that's just hilarious, man.
That's terrible.
I think it's rather comical.
So, as with a lot of these long hair bands, they weren't very good at managing money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know, hard to believe.
Well, I mean,
Cocaine and hookers.
Cocaine and hookers.
Inflation.
Well, and the price isn't the same from town to town.
That's right. You can't plan for these
So you can't budget this stuff in. You can't. You can't put it on your weekly. What's that program that people use to budget with, Betsy?
I don't know.
The one that X.
I don't know.
Excel.
You
can't Excel cocaine and hookers into a budget.
Not if you don't know the cost
when you're
of
traveling,
living increase.
If you stay in the same place,
sure.
Obviously, your
ladies.
You have your regulars. You know what the price is.
Yep.
But if you're traveling between Boston and L.A.
or Paris,
first of all, the way they count is wrong. And then what is their money marked with? I mean, England has an L, but Paris has a P or a Q or something.
A U, I believe, or an E for euro.
And then, but not then. Euros
true.
are new thing. And then they played stuff in Moscow, so that's in rubles. If they went to Mexico, how many commas do you got to put on that bill?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So, because of this, 1992, Page decides to downsize, and he sells the house as well as much of the Crowley collection. Since then, the estate, I mean, we're talking 1992, it has gone through dozens of owners.
Yeah, it just keeps getting bought and sold.
For a while, it was a bed and breakfast. Why didn't I know this? I would have gone there.
How creepy would that be? First of all, you guys, folks, you see that far corner of the house?
Yeah.
Right?
10 paces.
And then you look
southeast.
Just look past that tree.
Aunt Ruth.
You're in a bed and breakfast. You check in late in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of dark.
4 p.m.
You wake up in the morning, look out the window, graveyard.
Aunt Ruth.
How are you?
In a cage.
So that's no longer a bed and breakfast.
Yes, true.
That's a bed and see you later.
That's
you
true.
know,
Sure.
I'll get on Yelp and leave my review when I'm 5 miles down the road. Thank you.
So, as anyone can guess, this house has continued throughout the years to attract hordes of people who are into the occult, Thelema, apparently still a big thing, or just Crowley himself as a person. So the last owners were reluctant to speak to anyone concerning Crowley or the paranormal activities that they experienced. They did say, yes, of course we do, but we're not talking about them. And they kept this really low profile until significant fire takes place in December 2015. Then they have to vacate the home. It's sold again. They're starting some renovations when another fire. The Dukes of Hell are trying to burn this place down.
No, seriously.
Let them have it. Another fire, July 2019, and then it's bought by the Boleskine House Foundation. And the foundation.
Now, is the foundation just lovers of kind of
I don't know.
a cool house layout, or are they creepies?
You would have to be a little bit of both.
But I mean, seriously, they might just be like local Boleskinians.
Boleskinians. Is that?
And they're just like, we got to save this house. Like in Grantsville, you know, when they start doing some stuff, they start looking at how do we take care of this old structure, you know? But I mean, or are they like the nighttime is the right time?
I don't know.
That's the question. Or is it a mix
I don't know
of both?
because this
Maybe
isn't,
you've got 2/3, a half a dozen of the other.
this isn't a home that is obscure in the sense that people don't know about it. It comes with this really long history.
Mhm.
So, you would either have to be able to completely ignore that or you'd have to be into it.
Mhm.
There's no sliding scale. There's no gray area. You would have to either be able to just completely ignore it and move on about business, or you would have to be into it
Mm.
to create a foundation to rescue it.
That's the thing.
Because
the
there's
thing.
never
And-
been anyone notable outside of the occult that has owned this home.
Where do you reckon he put the sand?
See that open terrace? It looks like it's kind of cement or gravel.
Kind of in the back.
That's where the terrace was. That's where the sand was.
So
And it
he
was
just
said
threw the
that
sand
he
on the gravel
he
or on
literally
the concrete. Just
brought it up one load at a time and spread it out several inches thick, this really fine river sand, and set up his rituals and summonings out there so that he could capture the footprints of the demons.
are they hoofs or people prints?
I don't know.
And then
what
another
about it.
question:
Here's the thing: he summoned them and then he left.
do you have to filter out the fish poop?
Yeah,
Could that soil your soil?
could be.
Hmm.
So there's the connection is not that Aleister Crowley summoned the Lochness monster. The connection is the Lochness monster has been spoken of hundreds of years before Aleister Crowley
Yeah.
ever came into the picture. He wasn't even alive. The connection is that the house is on Lake Lochness and is now haunted by the 12 kings and the dukes of hell after being summoned to do so by the one and only Aleister Crowley.
Are the 12 kings and the dukes homeboys, do you think?
I don't.
Are the kings like...
Are the kings bad? The dukes of hell, if they're good, they've got a terrible name.
That'd be wild if the dukes of hell are the good guys and the 12 kings are like the bad guys.
We should do a show.
That's like Catharism.
Yeah, we should do a show on them.
On the
Okay.
Cathars? Oh, that's Cathars is really deep wild stuff. Anyways, all right. Okay. Just one last comment on the tragedy on them. That's talking about look at the band Led Zeppelin. Yeah. God, man, love their music. Thanks for joining us. Next week is right now tentatively
Can't wait.
the Bigfoot Hour.
The
Gotta
Bigfoot
chat.
Hour.
There has been some updates that we got to talk about. But
Our
anyways,
resident expert will be joining us.
our resident footer.
Footer. He looks a little like Bigfoot, but
Yeah.
he just really is into him.
Maybe not a
I-
Bigfoot, maybe
yeah.
a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Whatever the differences are. But anyways, he's going to come on. We've got some updates on Bigfoot. We love it. Bigfoot is our favorite thing.
Yep.
Anyways,
Have
have
a
a good
great
week.
week.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. Everyone, it's getting warm. I mean, unless you're in Texas, it's getting blistering hot. You know, I mean, now we can start going
Sorry,
outside.
King.
You have to run inside.
That's right.
All right. We'll see you later.